Hello, my name is Ashley, and I'm going to be taking you through the introduction to CourtReserve. We are going to demo around pickleball clubs today. CourtReserve is a completely customizable full club management platform. Years ago, we started out as a tennis court reservation platform, but soon after that, pickleball became very exciting here in the United States. And so we are taking over the pickleball world. CourtReserve has been developed by the racket and sports industry, mainly tennis and pickleball clubs, over the last 5 years, with all of the features and functionality that have been important to them. So today, my job is to show you as much as possible around how CourtReserve is supporting and helping pickleball clubs all over the world run their day-to-day, whether they are a 1 or 2 court facility or a 41 court facility. This is just a screenshot of some of our clubs around the world. And this is a screenshot that we took back last year that just kind of goes over some of our clubs in the United States and in Canada. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is the CourtReserve mobile app. This is a free app that's downloaded by your players and members and also your staff and admin team, and it's completely customizable. So over on the left-hand side, you will see this would be your club or facility logo. Then everything that is shown here is based on how you customize this in the CourtReserve platform. So announcements. This is our global announcement feature. This can be used as often as you like from the admin standpoint. And anytime you put up a new global announcement, the red dot indicates to your players that you are trying to tell them something. Maybe a new spring break pickleball camp for kids or adults, or maybe a new pickleball coach at your organization. Completely customizable to what's best. Now, the next 3 tabs, Reservations, Events, and Calendar, well, these are all based on the permissions and the things that you want your pickleball players to do. Reservations would be, do you want your players to be able to book a court, book a pickleball court just on the weekends, or maybe certain times during the week? Events in CourtReserve is around programming. Those would be your open plays, your round robin, classes, clinics, and camps to teach your players more and more about pickleball. Now, calendar is a calendar view of the programming and events at your organization. The next line is called the member directory. This is a great pickleball customized feature for CourtReserve. You can actually make different directories for different ratings. So if you have a 3-0 or 3-5 ladies pickleball group, you can actually publish a group of first name, last name, maybe an email list or a phone list based on those ratings, and it can only be shown to the ladies in that particular group. Groups are great in CourtReserve because you have so much customization behind the ratings. You can also display them by last name or first name, and you can also use this to email, text, and do other things in the CourtReserve platform when it comes to member directories. Now, the next tabs, My Reservations and My Events, well, this is around what the player has already reserved or the classes, clinics, and camps that they have already signed up for in the CourtReserve platform. Now, my account is very customizable, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. So let's talk about your pickleball players or your members. So it makes it really easy in the CourtReserve platform. Now, indeed, we are showing our tennis courts up here at the top, but this could be pickleball. This could be any of your courts. We make it easy for them to toggle through the days of the week, pick a court based on your setup, and make a reservation. Now, if you have ball machines, we make this easy as well. We also have a couple of clubs that have other resources here that their players can book, including pickleball paddles, shoes, and other things at that organization. Now, again, today is all around everything that CourtReserve can do to help you customize your club. You may turn approvals on or off for reservations. You may indicate specific days and times for court reservations. And again, from a player or member's perspective, they can do all of this from their mobile device. So you can see here, I have made this reservation as a member. My organization allows me to bring a guest. We have been assigned a court and as well as a court fee. CourtReserve works with 2 different merchant payment providers. One does credit card and debit card. The other does credit card, debit card, and e-check or bank transfer. This is significantly lower in fees, and definitely a lot of our clubs are using this to start off and run their pickleball facilities. I'll mention more about those two different payment merchants in just a few minutes. The reason for this screenshot is to show you that whatever kind of organization you have, it's completely customizable on the app for your players to book a court, bring guests, and pay, edit, and cancel all their reservations from their mobile device. Now, anytime your players make a court reservation, they will also be able to get an automated email out of the system as a confirmation. You can also set up reminder emails to go out and remind your players of when their court reservations are. And now you have the option to do that with a text alert as well. Now, events in CourtReserve are all those great programming, classes, clinics, open plays, round robins, things you want people, groups of people to sign up for. This also has the ability to do wait lists, and we'll talk more about that in just a second. But you can see over here on the right side that a player can log in, sign up for a class or a clinic. They can also update, withdraw, and based on your setup, they could potentially see registrants and additional information all on the mobile device. Now, again, anytime your players sign up for any kind of class, clinic, camp, open play, run robin, they're going to get that automated email that confirms their registration, but they're also going to be able to get that confirmation or the reminder so many hours before the actual class or clinic. Just as a reminder, you guys get to choose how often you send those reminders out. And again, this is also now available in text alerts. So a second ago, I mentioned my account. Now, again, this is customizable because if your organization is not going to take any membership fees or any kind of court fees or payments through CourtReserve, then your players will not see transactions or invoices at all. But this really does give great communication to your players if you do take transactions and invoicing in CourtReserve, because your players can pull up their app at any time. They can see all of their unpaid fees, their paid fees, their payments. They can actually put a card or e-check on file. And this, again, allows you to save paper. You're not mailing or snail mailing invoices, and everything is visible in the CourtReserve platform. Now, a couple of great features that I want to just point out that might be something for you to consider at your pickleball organization. Well, this is called Player Self-Check-In. Player Self-Check-In and even attendance tracking is now available in CourtReserve. Your players, when they log onto their app, would be able to pull up their barcode, and you can get a barcode scanner off of like an Amazon platform for $30 or $40 as long as it can read barcode scans. And your players, when they walk into your facility or your club, they simply just open up their app and swipe, and it will check them in for reservations, lessons, open plays, classes, clinics, camps, anything you want based on that setup. Now, we do have our first Wi-Fi integration with a company called Remote Lock. They sell incredible locks between $200 and $400. And when your player makes a reservation, if you have locked courts or locked rooms, then this gives your player 24-hour access, basically. So they make a reservation, they get a unique 4-digit PIN, it accesses the lock so many minutes before that reservation. And we have a lot of 24-hour pickleball clubs using our Wi-Fi remote lock access. Now, a couple of other really popular releases, especially around new and existing pickleball clubs, the new waivers and membership agreements. This allows you guys to upload your own general liability or membership waivers. It can be pushed to the player's email. You can have them sign at your front desk, but they can use their finger and basically sign off on all your waivers, and it time and date stamps and collects their electronic signature within the CourtReserve platform, so that if you ever have to go back or go into like a court or a legal setting, you have that information in the CourtReserve platform. We just released a couple weeks ago text notifications. This is such a popular feature because a lot of our pickleball customers and clubs all over the country are outdoors, and spring's here and a lot of them are coming back around or they're opening up. And, if it starts to rain or have bad weather, I mean, Text alerts is a great feature to send immediate notification to your players when things have changed. Now, within the next month, we are looking forward to our new pickleball add-ons, which are called Organized Play and Player Matchmaker. These are going to be great for pickleball clubs in the next month. And so stay tuned to the CourtReserve feature releases. That's going to be some exciting new things too. Okay, let's talk about those instructors and coaches that keep us playing. Well, based on your setup in the CourtReserve platform, they have the ability to do so much from their mobile device, including those closures that I just mentioned. They also have the ability to see their own unique schedule, so they can day-to-day schedule themselves unavailable or add in their own private lessons or camps, clinics, and classes. But they can also have the ability, based on your permissions, to see other instructors' availability as well. Now, we also have the ability for your instructors to have the member directory, so they can click on the phone icon or send a quick email. Now, one of the features that I love in CourtReserve is the fact that your instructors, while they're on the clinic or on the court teaching clinics each day, is the ability to have this information on their phone. So let's just say that this is the Junior Orange Pickleball Clinic. Now, from an instructor standpoint, they're going to see the date, the time, the number of registrants or students in their class. They're going to use the ball machine. They can register more players from the mobile phone, view their registrants, edit or cancel this class all from the mobile device. They can also input lessons on the mobile device, but let me tell you, we have a feature in CourtReserve. It's called Book a Pro. Book a Pro is a great feature for your instructors to be able to publish their private, maybe semi-private lessons that they're available to teach. Your players and members have the ability to see that, make a request. Your instructors can approve or deny those lessons. They can take payment. They can set up so many lessons per day with booking windows. It's an incredible feature in CourtReserve. And I do want to mention that the way that your instructors can actually collect fees, you see that there's a fee here for this private lesson of $100. When your instructor collects the pay button, it's not going into that instructor's bank account. That $100 is being collected on behalf of your pickleball organization, and then you can run reporting later on to show what you actually owe that instructor. So hopefully we're continuing to think of everything that your pickleball instructors will need in order to be on the court, have everything on their mobile device, and be able to show and pay accordingly. Another great feature that I believe is really fantastic in CourtReserve is all of the data and analytics that we have, and that's based on all of the reporting. So one of the important reports we have is a check-in report. This allows your instructors to actually take great attendance with just an ease of that toggle button on their mobile device. So even if you don't have a front desk, your instructors can always, basically in the CourtReserve app on their phone, take attendance, and then you as an admin team, you can always go back and run reports and see exactly what students showed up to your classes and clinics, the percentage of people attended, how many people dropped in, full registration. So again, we are really big on data and analytics in CourtReserve, and I think this is just an easy way to help your club show how busy you are, show how busy your classes are, etc. What you should be seeing now is actually the player side of CourtReserve. Now, this, of course, is a test account, and we have a little bit of all racket sports in here. So from a player standpoint, this is completely customizable based on your organization. If you have your own club website, you can link your CourtReserve platform, and I'll show you a couple examples of some other pickleball clubs and how they've linked that in the CourtReserve platform in just a minute. So from a player standpoint, we want to make it very visible and very easy for them to click and book an instructor or book a court. You can publish news, you can publish anything you want on your customer side. Again, remember that global announcements feature? Well, if this was new to me as a player, I would actually have a little red dot here as well. At the bottom, you can see your hours of availability, your social media links, as well as any other links that you would want your players and members to be able to see. So let's just start up here at events. Now, again, events in CourtReserve is your programming, your classes, clinics, those open plays, round robins. If I click on list as a player, I can scroll through and see all of the different clinics, or I can actually click on the categories here and it will just show me those. But let's go ahead and say that we as players, we're interested in the Junior Pickleball Academy. We can see there's only one spot left, how much the cost is, and the date and the times of upcoming classes. If I click here, I can see the instructor. If there was a court assigned, I can see that here as well. And I can see the registrants who have already signed up for this class or clinic. Now, if I scroll back out, let's go ahead and click on baseline training drills. Again, you can see additional information, the descriptions, the upcoming dates. And from a player standpoint, I can click register. I can sign myself and any other family members up who are able and allowed to join this class based on dates or restrictions, etc. And when I click save, I can see what I owe for the class, and then I can actually go in and pay for that or do anything else the club wants me to do. Again, from an admin standpoint, this is all completely customizable for your organization. Now, again, if we go back to the calendar view, the calendar is all done by colors, customization. You guys get to kind of choose what that looks like. I can go to a month or a week at a glance from a player standpoint. I can also go in and see just a list of certain classes and clinics that maybe you as a club have set up. We can see our junior clinics. Again, this is all completely customizable. Now, from a player standpoint, I can also go and click on My Events. Well, those are things that from my own standpoint, I have signed up for, my family members have signed up for if I have a family. I can also go in and click details of each event. I can also go in and see any waitlisted events. So waitlist works two different ways in CourtReserve. Classes, clinics, camps, open plays, round robins. If you turn on basic waitlist, then if a slot becomes available, then everyone on the wait list gets an email, and it's first come, first serve. So it's whoever sees the email, clicks, they're in, they're registered and good to go. Or what we also suggest is auto register. Auto register does just what it sounds like. It actually takes the first person who signed up for the wait list, auto registers them into the class, sends them the confirmation email, and you guys as admins, all you had to do was set it up. The system does everything else for you. Okay, let's talk about booking a court. If I wanted to book a pickleball court and I am the player, well, in CourtReserve, we make it really easy. So I could toggle through the days. I can actually, from an admin standpoint, have so many days out that the player can book in advance. We can do prime time. So if your pickleball courts are really busy, we have the ability to go in and say your players only can book one primetime court per day or per week. Now, let me show you from a player standpoint. If I wanted to reserve a 9 o'clock, now here you can see there are different reservation types. There are different duration times. Again, this is all customizable based on your club. Your club may or may not require other player names to be added. You can see here when I start clicking and adding other player names, well, this is also splitting that court cost by player based on their membership types. So again, completely customizable. We'll go in and we'll add a guest here just so you can see all of the abilities that CourtReserve has. You can even let the players who are reserving the court choose who can pay for this guest coming to the court. Again, everything's customizable. You can add disclosures and waivers. And again, we make this really customizable to whatever your facility wants to do in that CourtReserve platform. So now if we actually move on, you can see that our payment's been complete. We've got our reservation. Let's go on and just quickly look at Book a Pro. Now, Book a Pro is what I mentioned on the player side. If I, as a player, wanted to book the director of pickleball to give me a lesson, I can easily come in, select the lesson types that you guys as an organization have set up. I can answer any of these custom questions that the organization's requiring. When I click save, now I have 15 minutes to actually pay for this private lesson in order for this to be approved. Now, remember the member groups that we mentioned on the mobile side? Well, here they are on the desktop side as well. So again, if I was in the high performance juniors, you can kind of see first name, last name, email, rating, etc. Now, you can have multiple ratings in CourtReserve. So if you are a pickleball and a tennis facility or bocce or badminton, you can have multiple ratings at the same time. Now, remember, all of this is completely customizable. So we can have a news feed, we can have a contact the team feed, we can have a pickleball blog or a nutrition blog. Again, everything that you see here is customizable. So before we actually move over to our admin panel, just wanted to mention a few more things. On the mobile device, we saw billing, we saw invoices, but they can also see that on the desktop side as well. So at any point, your players can come in, they can see full transactional details, their unpaid fees, paid fees, payments, etc. So again, you may need a simple court reservation platform to run your open plays. We can help you. Or you may need a full club management platform with memberships and court fees. We can help you there as well. So now let's jump over to the admin side, and you can see here, when you are an admin in CourtReserve, you have the ability to have one unique login, and you can pop back and forth between the admin and the member side. We make it really easy. So this is the expanded scheduler in CourtReserve. Now you can see this has a lot of different courts. We've got our hard tennis courts, our pickleball courts, bocce gym. If you have multiple courts, we have a scroll bar at the bottom. You can also filter your courts by clicking on filter. You can show any closures or maybe just see courts or instructors specifically for information that you're looking for. Let's go over and show you a couple of really cool features in CourtReserve. So we can help you do combo courts. Combo court is where you have a hard tennis court and you have two pickleball courts lined on top of the hard tennis court. So if I click here on pickleball number 1, and I'm going to make a reservation for pickleball 1, we'll just save it. It makes that individual reservation here, but it blocks the complete tennis court. There's still pickleball 2 left open. So if we come in, let's just do singles so you can kind of see the difference. We have 2 unique reservations on pickleball 1 and 2, but you can see both show up and block tennis court number 1. Just a really cool feature in CourtReserve. Now, since we're here, we do have drag and drop. Of course, all of the colors are customizable, but let's go ahead and look at what a class, a clinic, open play, one of those events looks like in the CourtReserve platform. So our junior clinic, we can see the time. We have 9 registrants, so we actually have 1 spot in this class left. If you see the red line here or the $sign, it means that you have players that still owe you money for this class. If you hover over the initials, then this will tell you what instructor has been assigned to instruct this class or clinic. The eye icon, if you hover over, shows you additional information about this class. And here we can actually go directly to the audit log. The audit log shows you a screenshot of every single thing that's happened in the CourtReserve platform when it comes to this class. What admin or member did anything, you can show the event setup, you can show payment, you can show everything. The audit log is almost like a lie detector on paper. It's great because it's great as a tool for teaching, and especially when you're trying to figure out what admin or sub-admin did a specific thing in CourtReserve, you can always come back to the audit log. Now, if we click here on the 9 registrants, we made the click of one button. From a front desk standpoint or an admin standpoint, you can see so much information with the click of a button. So this is all of the registrants from all for this particular class that are signed up. You can see who has a card on file. You can actually see that they haven't filled out a custom form or a field. You can see that they have a pending signature on a waiver and agreement. This is their member number, their email, of course. This is the cost. And if you see the pencil, this means that you can edit the cost of this particular class. Or if you see a triangle, it means that this class was originally a different price. You can see who pays, who owes you money. You can print or email a receipt. You can also click check-in and do a check-in status. So maybe you have a couple of no-shows. Maybe you actually have a couple of people who were late arrival. And now in CourtReserve, we just released today, in fact, the ability to change the colors of each of these as well. From this view, you can also go in and reschedule them or even cancel their registration for this class. You can come in and email all of the registrants of this class or text them as well, pull attendance reports, and view additional reporting, all from the click of that one button. Just a really phenomenal job done by the team collecting what pickleball clubs and tennis clubs really need to see from a front desk standpoint. All right, I mentioned drag and drop, so you could drag and drop these classes around. You could extend these classes. So if we needed to extend this private lesson, we could easily do that here as well. So let's go over and talk a little bit more about your instructors. Instructors, again, if I was logged in as the instructor, I could see my classes, clinics, my entire schedule for a week. Obviously, this pro needs to be busier because he is not very busy right now. I could also see the information of all the other instructors. And you can see here, it looks like I'm pretty busy, but everybody else needs more classes and clinics to teach for sure. I mentioned the ball machines. We make it really easy for you guys to let your admins or your sub-admins book ball machines. And then this is a really cool feature. This is called the consolidated view. This takes all of the same types of courts. So you can see here, pickleball, we have 4 pickleball courts, and you can just from a quick bird's eye view, see how many are available or unavailable and make a reservation or a lesson directly from your scheduler. So if I click reserve from 2, now I can see I can make a court reservation, or maybe I just need to go ahead and do a pickleball private lesson. It's going to show me which instructors are available to teach. It's going to allow me to go ahead and put in a particular player. You can see when players have expired their membership at your organization. You can go ahead and modify the amount of the lesson directly from the scheduler. So maybe this is a new player and you're going to cut them a break. We're going to send confirmation emails to not only the instructor, but the player, if you so choose to. It's assigned to a court. And we can also go ahead and tell that this is a new beginner at the club. Maybe this is a junior, so mom will pick up later. And once we go ahead and click save, now this is actually scheduled, and you can actually pull up the expanded scheduler and see that, again, here is our pickleball private lesson that's been scheduled on court 3 with Anastasia as the instructor. This is an unpaid fee, and mom's going to pick up later, but you can also pop over to the instructor scheduler and see this on Anastasia's instructor schedule as well. Okay, that's enough around the scheduler. I do want to show you a couple of other features. Closures is an incredible feature for pickleball. I mentioned that on the admin side. If we come in and we know it's going to rain for a few days, once we come in, let's just go ahead and close our courts until, 2 days from now. Once you start clicking on these courts, you'll see these numbers here populate, because these are the actual humans that have a reservation or a registration, and they're already coming to something at your organization. Now you can onesie-twosie go in and reschedule or cancel, or basically you can let the system do it for you. If you choose B, C, or D right here, then the system's going to send them an automated email telling them their registration's been canceled. If they've already paid, it'll put their refund in pending status, and you can go home and cook dinner or do whatever. No more bulk phone calls, emails, text messages from your phone. We have made this to where within about 45 seconds, you can send notification out to everyone who has something scheduled at your pickleball club or organization. And now you can go on and do what you need to. Okay. Events. Now we've mentioned events several times. Those are all those classes, clinics, open plays, contract times here. Let's go in and check out our open event. So you can see here, you can have multiple dates scheduled, different people signed up. Again, a lot of the same information. You can also, if you have a lot of people showing up, assign them to a court. So for Monday, March 28th, we have 3 players, but we have a lot of courts available for this open play day. So you can go ahead and click the assign button, and you can go ahead and assign certain members to certain courts to start the day off, so that they can actually see this on their confirmation email and in their app as well. So if we come back over to our general information tab, again, we have a lot of instructors and coaches that just use CourtReserve for programming. So again, you can come in here and name your events anything you'd like. Your admin team, you guys get to create your own categories. You can even create your own sessions. So do you want to look back and say, hey, how did our winter classes do over our summer classes? We've got our max registrants, our dates and times, and events in CourtReserve. Well, you can have different recurrences. Is this going to happen every day? Open play happens every day, right? Or maybe every week, or maybe it's custom. Maybe it's Monday of this week, Wednesday of the following week. You can come in and allow for single date drop-ins, or we have a lot of academies that use us for tennis and pickleball who want their students to register every week for the 10-week session. We talked about waitlist already, and you can even come in and again, assign instructors to certain classes and clinics, and the system will tell you if they are unavailable, as well as the courts and the ball machines. Now, CourtReserve has full membership platform capabilities. You as a pickleball organization may have one membership. You may have an HOA and you have just resident memberships, or you can have several memberships. This gives you the ability to come in and price each membership differently. So maybe, different types of membership gets break and some don't. You can choose which memberships can register online. You can require a payment profile. You can require approval. You can also have different drop-in registration start dates. So maybe your full club members, they can register 1 week out. But maybe your guest or your non-members, well, they can only register 1 day out because maybe you use them to fill up your classes again. Now, additional things in our programming and events module, you can add waivers and disclosures. You can set up your revenue categories and make it easy for accounting. You can also use registration restrictions. Well, what does that mean? Well, if you're just having a ladies class, you can restrict to a certain gender, you can do age, but you can also do it by rating. And you can also do it by member groups. So you can actually come in and create your own member groups within the CourtReserve platform. You can actually restrict this class or clinic or open play to specific levels of play or these member groups. And that way, when your players log in, they can only register for classes, clinics, open plays that are good for them and their rating. And if you actually click this button here, you can hide it so they don't even know this class exists. All right. Now we've talked a little bit about memberships, but again, we can help you with individual or family memberships. We can help you collect initiation fees, and we can help you collect your membership fees, whether that's monthly, quarterly, annually, or one time. You can have prerequisites, you can prorate your memberships, and you can also have short-term trial memberships. So maybe you're trying to grow your pickleball club and you want to come in and offer a 7-day free trial for your players to come in and attend classes, make court reservations. But again, the trial allows you guys to set up whatever works for your organization. And that's what's so powerful. Okay. Briefly mention transactions. Again, we work with those 2 different credit card merchant providers. All of the transactions in CourtReserve are kept up. You can run tons and tons of reports. We definitely would love to have a call with you just to talk about the 2 options and what's best for your organization. You can come in and process refunds. You can come in and run a sales summary of, how did you collect the money that day? A payment summary. Well, how did you take the money in? Was it cash, check, gift card, etc.? We have several different daily revenue reports and online payment reports. We also have an invoicing feature. So if you allow your players to basically charge a house account each month, then once a month or twice a month, you can go out, you can email and attach an invoice to their CourtReserve account, and then you can collect payment directly using their card on file or their bank draft on file as well. Okay. Speaking of reports, we have some, again, we're great with data and analytics. You can come in and run a report. How many doubles reservations did you do this month or this year? How many different types of memberships did you do this year or this month? Probably one of my favorite reports is the court utilization. It's just a heat map, and it's just such an incredible view of how busy your courts are. You can do it by minutes or utilize number of courts. And again, if you are the owner of your pickleball club, or if you are a board member, or if you are just somebody who has a boss who is constantly wanting to know, well, how are things going? How's the club doing? How much money are we making? How busy are the courts? All your data is in CourtReserve. All you have to do is come in here, pull the reports, and this is real-time data. So you can say, okay, in the last month, we probably need to, get some new programming. We need to hire an instructor for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We need to do some margarita mixers Friday night and get some people in here. We need to do some leagues on Saturdays and Sundays and fill these courts up. Again, we have your data. All you have to do is tell us what it needs to look like. Okay, the point of sale in CourtReserve, again, is a great feature. If you have a pro shop or you want to sell some burgers or some cans of balls or some water bottles, we can help you. It's easy to set up. You can come in here. It's easy to basically check people out. Again, you can allow members to do a house account. You can come in here and let them, swipe credit cards, do a card on file. Let's just go ahead and tender this out with cash. They're going to give me a $20 bill. I'm going to process the sale. Cash register door pops open. I give them their change. I can print them a receipt, but they can also, it's a great way to do inventory management. You can see here when you're out of stock. You can also see we have 115 granola bars left, and you can be notified whenever it's getting low. The great thing about CourtReserve is you pay for what you use in CourtReserve. So if you don't need a point of sale, then you don't pay for it and you don't use it. CourtReserve, the way that we charge is incredible because it's based on your number of courts, your number of instructors. If you're seasonal, then we'll help you turn off your platform in the winter and you can shut down CourtReserve. And then when you come out of hibernation next spring, then we'll help you update your credit card and all your data is still there. We have a lot of Northern and Canadian clients that are seasonal. And in fact, right now, a lot of them are coming back to life. So again, we try and make it really easy for you to have complete visibility in CourtReserve. You can always come down and click on your subscription button and see exactly what you are paying for, any add-ons that you're using, etc. Now, I want to go over a few more things that I think set CourtReserve apart in the pickleball software space. So system users in CourtReserve are admins, sub-admins, and instructors. If you have sub-admins, you can actually come in here and give them very specific permissions by which you want them to do certain things. So maybe you want your front desk staff to create reservations and, maybe close your courts, but you don't want them to do anything with memberships. Everything in CourtReserve is around permissions and restrictions. Now, we've talked a lot about custom schedulers, the ability to go in and, modify certain days of the week and times of day you want people to book your courts. We also talked about your instructors having complete scheduling in CourtReserve. So they can come in and they can, have several different lesson types, but you can also come in and help them have custom instructor pricing. This is incredible. We work with some 40 and 70 court facilities, and they may have 30 instructors. Well, that is years of education and experience that is different, and they should be paid accordingly, and now they can in CourtReserve. Hey, let's talk about the emails. Now, we mentioned a few times there's automated emails that go out of CourtReserve when you make a payment, when you sign up for a court booking, when you sign up for an open play. But we also give you 5,000 marketing emails each month for you to send out for anything you want to tell your players. Maybe you want to, tell them about a new tournament this weekend or a new ladder or league. You get 5,000 of them a month to send out. It's what we give you in CourtReserve. If you're using a third-party MailChimp or Mad Mimi, you can cut your cost and email everyone out of CourtReserve. Let's talk about booking settings. How many days in advance do you want certain members to be able to book courts? How many courts can they book a day? Do you want member or non-members to be able to book courts? How often do you want them to be able to cancel a reservation? How many guests can they bring to your organization each month or each year? We can get as restrictive as the number of minutes a member or a family can reserve per day. We can also do it by space. So if you have 25 tennis courts and 4 pickleball courts, maybe they can reserve 2 tennis courts per day, but only one pickleball court per day. We have some really great permission restrictions down here. You can bypass your restrictions. So let's say you let people book 1 court per person per day. Well, if it's 7 o'clock at night and the courts are empty, you can put an hour in here. And if it's within an hour, then it'll bypass the restriction. So I can book an empty court at night. We also have a feature called sandwich time. This is really amazing. If you're worried about court utilization, let's say you put in 30 minutes. It basically means that it won't allow your players to book 30 minutes of dead time. So I can book from a player side 8 to 9 o'clock, but I can't come in and book an 8:30 court because it's going to keep that 8 to 8:30 as dead time where nobody's going to book it. And it actually will not allow them to do that. So we are constantly listening to our pickleball clubs and helping them, with ideas about how they can have the most out of their court utilization. Okay. Basically, if you need rules, restrictions, and permissions, we can help. All right, let's talk about your players, your members. How are you going to get them into the CourtReserve platform? Well, 2 ways. If you are an existing club or you already have a group of first name, last name, email, we have an import template. It's an Excel file. We can send you the template. You fill it out, send it back to us. Our CourtReserve team can import that data for you, including addresses, phone numbers, ratings, etc. Or you can use the system. You can come in, you can build your own sign-up form. You can ask your players to fill out any information you like, including custom questions, ratings, sign off on waivers and disclosures, and then you can turn approvals on. So anytime you get a red dot, you can see that you have new members to review, and then you can log in and approve or decline their information into the CourtReserve platform. Really doesn't matter to us. We'll help you any way you need. So as I mentioned, we have the ability for you to link to a current website. One of my favorite widgets, and a widget is basically a bit of code that allows you to embed things. This is our lobby view widget. So if you have a smart TV in the lobby of your club, you can actually put this link in the smart TV. And when your players walk in, they can just look up at the TV and see where all of the classes, clinics, open plays are, what court they're on. Let me show you a couple more. This is the USTA National Campus. This is their website. They have pickleball, paddle, tennis, of course. If you actually click the red Getting Started button, well, this is CourtReserve. So now as a new player, I can come in, I can register, I can sign up for classes, clinics, but you probably wouldn't have even known that this is actually CourtReserve. We have made it so customizable for you to make it look just like your own CourtReserve platform. So this is Wolverine Pickleball. This is up in Michigan. They have the CourtReserve events calendar widget embedded into their website. So as a player, if I wanted to go out and play, then I could quickly just click the sign up button, and this leads you right over to the registration page where you could register to sign up for this class or clinic. Let's go over to the kitchen. The kitchen is a great pickleball facility out in Salt Lake City, Utah. And if you wanted to learn more, this is their register or waiver CourtReserve widget. You might have guessed it. So again, they have made it easy for their members to simply fill out the information they request, the disclosure, and you're off and running at the kitchen. This is Lucky Shots Pickleball in the Twin Cities. What a colorful website. But again, they have gone and used the CourtReserve platform to basically customize. Okay, so this is their website, but if you actually click book a court, well, this is CourtReserve, and the top actually looks just like the CourtReserve platform. I think this is just so powerful. I love showing these off. These are great customers. And actually, this is a very new CourtReserve client, Mercer Bucks Pickleball up in New Jersey. This is their website, just like an incredible website they've built. And then if you wanted to actually sign up, let's join now. If we join now, we're going to go out, we're going to create an account. And again, this is going to lead you directly to CourtReserve where you can go up and create an account. But for most of your players, these are just widgets. They're not actually knowing that they're leaving the Mercer Bucks website and going over to the pickleball website. So what are your next steps? Let's talk about that. So we're going to go over and look up CourtReserve. What we want you to do is we want to answer as many of your questions as possible. And again, features are here. Pricing is here. We have a great pricing calculator that you can scroll about halfway down and click, basically your price. Now, active players here, an active player means they have done something in your CourtReserve platform at least one time that month. So we have a lot of pickleball clubs that have 4,000 and 5,000 players in their database, but they only have around 300 or 400 active players each month. If you have snowbirds or people who are only there half the year, they're not going to account for you that month. Now you can come in and put in your number of courts and your number of instructors, and then you can choose which add-ons are important to you at your club. So again, we make it really easy for you to calculate your price, and we're really happy to get on a call and work with you and schedule and talk more about that as well. So thank you again for joining us today. I really want to just mention, you know, when I say that CourtReserve is passionate about helping pickleball clubs with the features and functionalities they need, the CourtReserve Idea Board is actually in the CourtReserve platform. You as an organization can come in, you can look at all of the current ideas that other clubs and organizations have submitted, and you can come in and actually vote on the things that are important to you. And anytime we release a new feature or functionality in the CourtReserve platform, then we want to tell you about it. And so we are constantly publishing new videos and articles. In fact, look, 4 hours ago, we just published new features into CourtReserve. So again, we're really excited about helping pickleball clubs and facilities all over the country really help us develop products that pickleball clubs need for the future.